Hey YouTube! About a year ago, I picked up the hobby of learning how to weave chainmail. I've been enjoying making a lot of different items, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I made this chainmail headpiece. To get started, you're going to need some jump rings. I got these jump rings from the Chainmail Joe starter kit. It's been an awesome kit to work from and taught me so many different weaves, but the rings that it comes with are bright aluminum rings, and these rings tend to leave a black residue on your fingers if you've been working with them for a while. So I think when I run out of these rings, I'm going to switch to some anodized aluminum rings. You will also need 2 sets of pliers. I coat my pliers in this Tool Magic stuff. It's the white stuff on the ends there. It's just a rubber coating and it protects my rings from getting scratched. It's not necessary, but I like using it. But with those items, we're ready to start weaving. Here I am just taking my head measurement. This will let me know how long I need to make the chain that's gonna go around my head. Then I started prepping my rings. The rings come in a slightly opened position, so I need to close them so they look like this. And I just prep a bunch of those because it'll be nice to have them ready and make the process faster. The weave I'm using for this project is called a European 4-in-1 weave. This is done by taking 1 open ring and then putting 4 closed rings on that 1 ring. And then when it lays flat, the rings are laying in alternate directions. So the 2 on the top and bottom are facing, in this case, towards the left, and then my middle ring is facing towards the right. And then here I am taking 2 4-in-1 units and combining them with a middle ring that is facing to the right. I'll leave a link in the description for a tutorial for this weave because I know it can be a little confusing trying to keep track of all the rings in a video like this. But yeah, I just made a bunch of 4-in-1 units and then connected them to make a chain the length of my head measurement. Another way to add on to your chain is instead of doing 4-in-1 units and linking them together, you can take a center ring and then add 2 closed rings onto that ring. Either way though, you're going to have 4 rings going through your center ring. This is just a way to do it in smaller increments. I did a lot of this weave off camera just because chainmail does require a bunch of time, and that's more footage than I wanted to have to edit. So I finished my chain and made sure it fit my head, and then I moved on to making some triangles. I've learned 2 different ways to make triangles. This first way is starting from the point of the triangle. Starting with a 2-in-1 unit, and then from there you basically weave the rings onto your triangle one by one and build it up row by row. So the 3rd row will have 3 rings, and each of those rings, except the ones on the sides, will have gone through 2 rings. So for your 4th row, the 2 rings in the middle will be woven through 2 rings, and then the ones on the end will only be woven through 1 ring. Sorry if this is so scrambled and chaotic. Hopefully the video is helpful, but essentially you're weaving your triangle one by one from the point until you get to the amount of rows that you want. Also, the rings in each row of your triangle should be laying in alternating directions, and your last row of your triangle should be laying in the same direction as the chain you're going to attach it to. Here I am starting another triangle using the second method. I learned this way from mailartisans.org. There's a really good tutorial on there, and I will leave a link in the description because it was super helpful. But essentially, you are making a 4-in-1 weave, but on your ends of the triangle, you are doing 3-in-1, so it creates this tapered edge. This method's really great if you already know how many rings wide you want the base of your triangle to be, so in my case 7, and then it's also faster because you're weaving with multiple rings at once instead of doing it one at a time. So here my base is finished for this triangle, and then I'm adding another row by putting a connecting ring on and then adding a closed ring to that. So there should be 3 in that one connecting ring, and then I'm going to start weaving but with 4 in the connecting ring this time and adding an additional 4th ring to my connecting ring. And then I'll keep doing that until I get to the end of that row, and it should be 3 rings already there, so it's just adding 1 connecting ring to that row. Again, I'll put the link to the tutorial in the description because it's super clear on how to do this and it was really good. And now I have 2 completed triangles. For this design, I want a total of 10 triangles, 5 on top and 5 on bottom, so I just went ahead and made the rest of my triangles. After some time, I completed the rest of my triangles and it was time to attach them to my chain. To do this, you're going to take 1 open connecting ring and weave it through 3 rings on the end. So 2 from your chain and then 1 from your triangle. The rest of the way through, you'll be weaving 4-in-1s, but again, on those ends, you're going to do 3-in-1. This just continues that tapered edge of the triangle. And also, your connecting row of rings should have 1 more ring than the base ring of your triangle. So my triangle was 7 rings wide, and then my connecting rings should be 8 rings wide. Connecting the triangles on top and bottom like this creates this diamond illusion, and I think it looks pretty cool. Now that all my triangles were attached, it's time to close the chain. You can do this by weaving a ring in the middle there, or since I wear wigs, I like to make it adjustable, so I attach a jewelry chain with a clasp. That way, when I'm wearing a wig or just wearing my regular hair that grows out of my head, it's adjustable and I can wear it either way. I also like to add a little decorative bead at the end of my jewelry chain just because I think it looks nice. I'm almost done. Here I am just connecting some jewelry chains to the point of each of the top triangles because they just flop over if they're not connected to anything. So I just take those chains and then connect them all to a ring on the top of the head. I could have stopped here, but I was feeling fancy and decorated it with some extra jewelry chain that would drape between some of the triangles. And here's what the finished headpiece looks like when it's laid flat. You can really get fancy and add things like gems and beads. This is another headpiece I made using the same exact techniques, but I attached my triangles in different spots so they didn't make diamonds and used different triangle sizes. Really, if you know how to make a 4-in-1 chain and some triangles, you can make a lot of cool and different items. But that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you'd like to see some more chainmail stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!